alas, we move on to Super Rugby Aotearoa. The Hurricanes and the Chiefs, the Chefs. Are the Chiefs now 0-8 for the season? Or is it? I think it's...
I don't know. I don't even know. I can't count that high, mate. They've had so many losses. They must be, because the 007 meme was last week. So it has to be.
I was going to say that's probably one of my favourite memes of the season so far was pitcher Warren Gatland, Warren Gatland, 007, 0 wins, 0 draws, and 7 losses. Yeah. It was fantastic.
Yeah. So you got Dane Coles hopefully coming back from his back injury. He did in trouble with the squad 2 weeks ago before the bye, but that's a long time to get over it. And they said it was not too bad of an injury either. I expect him to start over Amua if he is fit, but I guess wait and see. And Amua has been very good as well, and his line-out throwing seems to be improving slowly. Peter Umaga Jensen copped a concussion a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, no Nani Lamape for the rest of the season while he's gone for his operation for his wrist injury. So you think they'll be desperate for him to start in the centres there. That will obviously bring in everyone's favourite centre that never plays, Vince Asso, who I expect to pair him in the centres. Surely not Billy Proctor, because, geez, that would just be so disappointing for everybody. But
it's got to be Asso.
But then who plays inside?
Asso can play 12. He's played 12 in the absence of Lamape.
Asso is you want to be Lamape for sure.
Okay.
Back him at 12.
Tyrell Lomax, Vea Fafita, and Isaiah Wakaliawere. All three of them were pulled from the game last week. I think Holland, the coach, had said that they were battling with a few knocks from a few big, heavy games in a row, and that they ended up getting pulled late, most likely because of that. So kind of expecting all of them to get a start. And personally, I would love to see Isaiah Wakaliawere just get his opportunity to start a game as well. He's been very good, I think, off the bench, so that would be great to see.
Agreed.
Anyone else, boys? What do you think?
Walker-Lee-Aware as well. I mean, look, we had been really critical about the Hurricanes when they had started the season with a loss or two, just saying they didn't have quite the go forward. But, I mean, I can't really remember what changed for them in the last couple of games that they won. I mean, they beat the Crusaders, didn't they? Which is no mean feat. But still, I would like to see Isaiah Walker-Lee-Aware in there as a start. I just think he really brings something that the other locks don't. Also, no Blam, Ben Lamb.
Is Van Wyk gone as well, or does he go at the end of the season?
He's gone.
He's gone as well.
Yeah, so it's going to be Ray Arcee surely taking Blam's spot.
Or
we don't know where he is.
I know it's not going to happen, but just hear me out. Could we possibly see the late signing Julian Sevilla, the bus, return to play for the Hurricanes with his brother?
No, we couldn't, because they've said he won't play this week.
That's really disappointing.
Yeah, I don't know who else is there, to be fair, to take that spot. Oh, I do know who.
Jonah Lowe.
No, who's been playing fullback? Who hasn't been playing recently? Chase Tiatia on the wing. You heard it here first.
Well, I think, I mean, if Ray-Arcee's fit, I don't understand why he hasn't been playing anyway. But certainly Ray-Arcee, and then you'd have to think Wes Husson on the other wing. And we're still calling for Geordie Barrett to just go in and play 10, and then we can put Chase Tiatia out back. But it's fallen upon deaf ears. So, and I guess,
he's one of those players that, for some reason, we don't like his head Tiatia, but he has been great for them in so many occasions.
He's been awesome. I rate him very highly.
But it's his head.
No,
you just don't like it.
At Garden Bishop's head, you're getting the reflection.
True.
No, very good. So, yeah, it's certainly a shuffle around in the backs for the Canes. The forwards, we think, pretty similar up front. Lomax in there. Don't know who, probably, who have we got in the back row? We've got Artie. Who's even playing the back row? Evans back? I don't know.
No, Gareth Evans is gone.
Duplessis, Karifi.
Gareth Evans is done. Reed Princep, I think, should be
Princep. That'll be the three of them, yeah. Right.
It's Princep will be the 6. You should say.
Cool. All right. Well, the chefs. We haven't talked about the chefs at all.
Quinta Paya. You need to start. They've benched him for too long. Nankerville's been average.
Yeah, look, it's interesting. Nankerville has been a little bit more of a distributor. Has just seemed to lose any of his running game that he's had in previous seasons. Quinn Tapea, when he's been out there, has probably been the opposite and try to run a little bit more than he's tried to distribute. For me, I'd be depending where Anton Leonard-Brown's playing. Do you want him at 12? Do you want him at 13? But probably you just want him to get his hands on the ball as much as possible. So maybe you do chuck him to 12 and then Quinn Tapea comes in at 13.
Yeah, fair enough. I think you're right. The whole back line needs to hinge around ALB, to be honest. I thought Aaron Cruden was pretty good last week.
100th game.
100th game. So I think surely he gets another start over Trask while he's got the opportunity to do so. But maybe they just started him as a bit of a tip of the hat for him to play his 100th game as a starter as well. So that was his first start in a few weeks in a row. What do you guys reckon?
Well, look, if I was Warren Gatland, I'd be playing whoever I thought was going to get me a bloody win. And
you don't normally do that?
Well, he doesn't, apparently. So I would be playing Aaron Cruden because for mine, that's who I'd be playing if I wanted to win.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. My one thought is that no matter who's been playing 10, they've been losing and they've generally been coming close. So, I mean, he's probably got his own vision of what he thinks that this team's going to be. And Cruden didn't necessarily do enough to change that. So I think irrelevant of how he performed on the weekend, it's going to be whoever Gatland wanted already previous to that.
Look, I think Gatland might be, and I could be wrong here, but Gatland might be the only coach who has seen the British and Irish Lions lose to a Kiwi Super Rugby team.
No, I don't think that's correct, is it?
So he knows. He did. They definitely. I think the Chiefs.
I think he's the only.
What?
Because there's been a few.
Who plays loosehead for the Chiefs? Does Angus Darvell as a man that can play both sides? Does he just jump in there?
So that's what I suggested. I suggested Tarvao will just go straight in there. That's kind of how he got the call up to the Chiefs a couple of years ago. Was they had lost all of their props, which they seem to do every year, and he can play both pretty easily. If they have lost Ruben O'Neill, then the next one cab off the rank was Ollie Norris, who's got no experience whatsoever. So you'd definitely be throwing Tarvao in the mix. I actually need to go back and check who is their extended squad of props because I don't know who's after that.
I think Aiden Ross's injury was not really severe either, so he's probably another name that may come back into the team, but surely Angus Tarvao starts.
Tough. I mean, your next two are going to be Gelden Hughes and Tarvao, yeah? So if Tarvao fills that role as a loose head, you've still got Gelden Hughes on the tight head and the bench.
Yeah,
there's definitely more depth there, so that's what I'd be going.
And the Chiefs' back row is basically their entire team. They topped the fantasy for the Chiefs last week. I had to go check if Damien McKenzie actually got a fantasy score because Harry, we haven't seen your boy for a while. Look, I had a look. His average is still 38 for the season, which is terrible by his standards, but not for your average fantasy rugby player. But it's how do the backs do better? I don't know. We've said this every week, but
realistically, you don't need backs when you've got Boshier running that hard. I mean, you've got Siwakula running that hard and Boshier scoring all your tries.
The classic Nelson take on the game. Could we just have 15 flankers, please?
That's right.
Yes, please.
So the Hurricanes score all their tries from scrums. Yeah, everyone agrees with that. Good. And the Chiefs have no props. Nepo Lalala can't push the entire scrum himself, and Bradley Slater's about 14 years old. So surely the Hurricanes are going to score some really good backline tries in this game and get some points up for Ray Arce or Chase Teotia, whichever left wing he gets the run, hey?
Yeah, that sounds a shout.
Yep.
All right, is anyone prepared to back the Chiefs in this one?
Nah.
Hurricanes by 8.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the dark horse. I'm taking the Chiefs to get their first win.
I'm trying to back an Australian team in New Zealand, mate.
We've had a few of those wins recently, mate. To be fair, I'm going to go Hurricanes by 10.
Very good. All right. Well, that takes us on to a game that will probably be not just as easily decided, but just as easy to decide who will win. The Crusaders against the Highlanders, the South Island Derby. Returning for this one, Joe Moody from some family bereavement. He's a grub, so too bad. And Braden Ennor returning from a foot injury, or Harry is desperately hoping returning from a foot injury.
He's on track. Coach said he's on track. Don't worry, I've been watching.
You've called him, you've video called him in, you've checked with the medical team, the treatment plan, you've done some work on it. Very good.
Mateo and Braden Ennor are in my centres this week.
Very good. You're trying to get a taste of the Crusaders, mate. That's it.
100%.
Crusaders by how much? No. As I said.
Is that it?
No. As I said, this game's always closer than you think it is. Doesn't matter how good the Crusaders are. The Highlanders always shift up another gear for the South Island Derby. And it always starts as a super physical encounter. The Highlanders think the solution is if we could just go out there and bash the shit out of them, we might be able to rattle them a little bit. And sometimes they do.
Is it always tighter than you think it is when the last two games are lost by 20 points and the one before that they lost by 34 points? And the one before that they lost by, I think, 34 points. No, 36 points.
Excluding those last three fixtures, it's always closer than you think it is.
Honestly, I reckon the Highlanders...
Actually, you know what? I reckon if you look at the half-time score, it's always closer than you think it is. Maybe not the full-time score.
The average is 35 points in the last 5 matches.
All right, anyway, I reckon the Highlanders have put it away. I reckon that as much as Mitch Hunt's been a great player for them this year, as much as Joshua is a weapon, I don't think they both fit in a starting side. I think it throws the balance of their team out, especially when Rob Thompson's not playing it outside.
Start Mitch Hunt.
Especially when you're benching Janan Areki. They've just got zero firepower in the back line. Like, Theo Tompkinson has not been an effective enough ball carrier for them for that to be their team. So basically it means that they've got one game plan, and that is hope Parry Parkinson wins every single line out, and Shannon Frizzell and Mickey Aletu'u can score 4 tries a game for them. What else are they going to do to score? I have no idea. Hopefully Aaron Smith beats the whole team again, even though it's not his game, but he'll just do it because he's got no choice.
I think if you found did you find Aaron Major's notebook? Because that's probably
was it.
Yeah, that was very good. I think look, all you have to do is look at the two back lines on paper. It's chalk and cheese. It's like putting, the Wallabies up against Nelson's club footy side, the Burraneer Dolphins, or whatever they are, mate. It's
our back line is lethal.
At halftime, it'll be tight. At halftime.
No, it's. I mean, yeah, and as we said, the Crusaders back line only getting better with Braden Ennor coming back in. For Tuli Paya, look, see a champ.
Great. He sucks.
Yeah. So look, I think other ones for this in the Crusaders, Wedu Douglas still likely to be out. The Uber driver, got to make sure I get my mention in there. Tom Sanders, Colonel, to continue on at 8. He was incredible. I think Tom Christie will stay at 7. 6, anyone? Sione Havili, or do you think we'll see a change there at all?
No, who else they got? No way.
Sione Havili's a real hard worker. I think he's been good, and he's probably earned that spot at the moment. And
as we say all the time, they always need a Havili in the team. So true. Check that one. You're possibly saying what someone was saying, possibly Lester Fainganuku.
Well, just because they rotate their team around. I mean, you'd rather give them a run this week than next week against the Blues if it's for the title as well. So surely, if you're going to give one of the outside backs a rest, this is the time to do it. True, and whoever gets to line up against Scott Gregory, if you have him in your fantasy team this week, you are cheering. Sevu Reece against Scott Gregory. Can you imagine?
That's horrifying.
Dear. How good.
Hey, Crusaders win this. They win all of Aotearoa. Did we say that with a game in hand? We have not. No, is that it? It's done. Done and dusted. Done. No need to play the last rounds. Completely done. That's very Crusaders-like, isn't it? Like we'd like an early mark. We want a bit of a rest. It's quite underwhelming they're not having a final series. Yeah, it is a little bit, to be honest. The Crusaders are just way too far ahead. Even just play
Yeah.
one game. Can we just play a one-game final?
Well, look, I think the teams have shown enough that a couple of teams could actually potentially beat them if it came down to a finals, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, it's disappointing.
To be fair, I think the final is the last round. It's the Crusaders and the Blues. You know what I mean? Like, even though, yes, credit to the Canes who did beat the Crusaders. Sorry about it. The finals is the Blues and the Crusaders. So, all right, what are we saying? Pick your points for this. I'm going Crusaders 22 plus.
Oh, wowza, Harry.
I thought they were always closer than...
Damn it! I was hoping that no one would bring that back up. This is bullshit.
All right, I'm going to say less. 21 points.
Oh, that's less. I'm going to say more. I'm going to say 23 points.
Okay, you're right.
Closest wins.
Closest wins.
This bloody coordinated attack here. This is rubbish.